Alright, so today we're going to be working with a client named Natalie. She is a fifth grade student. She's about 10 years old. She's less developed and in the beginning stages of learning this specific skill. Because she's in the beginning stages of learning, she's not very confident with her skill. The skill that we're speaking of is kicking a soccer ball. We classify it as a non-complex skill because we're not going to be utilizing a walk-up. It's just going to be standing and kicking the soccer ball. We classify it as a discrete skill as well because we know the beginning and the end of the skill. It's a gross motor skill because it utilizes pretty big muscles in the body, in the lower body, where we're going to be using it as a training. So we don't want to use it in the gameplay. We want to use it in training to give her the skills that she needs to implement it in the gameplay. We're going to give her a strategy so when she is in gameplay, she can visually have a visual representation when performing the skill. I'm going to give her passive verbal skills because she is a beginner, so she doesn't know what must be done, so I have to direct her. This will help her give relative good timing of body positioning. So some instructional features that we'll be using is a video to show the timing of the limbs. This will be demonstrated by a peer, so it's not someone that she can't relate to. It'll be someone that she can relate to. We'll be doing this in real time and in the objective view, so she'll be able to see it clearly. We'll monitor her percentage of viewing, so we'll have her watch the video model 3 times every 5 kicks. That'll give her time to reassess her body mechanics. We're going to be utilizing this during the activity during the activity while I'm teaching her. The outcome from this, we want to give her strategies that she can use when in practice or in games. And we also want to improve her cognition so she's able to control her limbs and effectively so she can kick the ball. To move to the feedback portion, we're going to be using knowledge of performance prescriptive feedback. We want to use positive feedback because she is a beginner, so we want her to have a positive experience. So some examples that we're going to use is kick the ball with the inside of your foot, use more force, keep your eye on the ball. We also want to use knowledge of results quotes, and we're going to keep those positive as well. So we're going to say, do you see how well you kicked it that time? Good job, keep kicking it in the same spot. So we want to focus on the positive because she is a beginner. We're going to do it verbally and terminal because it is a discrete skill. So we're going to have to do a terminal because it is a shorter skill. And the outcome is the same. We want to improve her strategy for the game and cognition for her body. So for our additional concept, we'll be utilizing the 5 characteristics of learning. We'll use this to monitor her learning over the teaching process. So to start, we'll use the improvement aspect. To do this, we'll use a performance graph, and we'll use it to monitor how well she's improving over the learning time. Next, we'll use the consistency aspect. For this, we'll set up a target for her, and we'll see how consistent she is in hitting that target multiple times. After that, we'll use the stability aspect. For this, we want to create an unstable environment and see if she can still perform the skill at a high level. For the persistence part, we're going to have her kick the soccer ball one day and monitor that, and then come back in a few days and see if she is still able to recreate the same kicking performance. And then lastly, we're going to use the adaptability aspect. We're going to do that by incorporating a defender of some sort, and we're going to see how well she's able to adapt to having a different obstacle in her performance. So through these 5 characteristics of learning, we want to see whether the individual has learned the skill or not. If not, we will reassess, and then we'll go from there after the reassessment.
Today I'm working with my client Josie, who is 62 years old. She is more developed, skilled, and is confident in performing the task. Today we are going to perform a squat, and the complexity is complex with multiple limbs. We classify this skill as a discrete gross motor, which is using more of those larger limbs, and there's an obvious beginning and end to the squat. We are using this technique in our training, and this is when to give the woman a strategy when she is performing. I'm going to use active verbal skills. We're going to use an active presentation, so having an elderly person who knows how to perform a squat to give Josie a visual representation of the skill. Our elderly model will be skilled, and Josie is going to view this in real time with an objective view of the instructor, and she will have control over the viewing. She's going to watch the model after every trial, during the activity, and during the learning process. We will be using the strategy to improve subjects' activity performance, and for the cognition, we will be teaching the individual what to think about when performing a squat. During Josie's performance, we will give her descriptive verbal cues as to, you didn't keep your back straight, there's too much knee movement, you're not keeping your core tight, you're putting too much weight on one side, or your hips are not pushed back enough. This will allow us to focus on the correct aspect of performance. During the presentation of the other elderly woman, she will show how to perform a squat and give Josie a visual representation. The elderly model, who is skilled, will give verbal feedback, and this will be terminal at the very end of the skill. This will improve Josie's performance when executing the squat, and also teach her how to control her limbs when performing the skill. At the very end, we will assess if she has learned the skill or not. For our additional concept, we will be focusing on attention. For example, feel the pressure in your feet would be focusing on the internal narrow. Feel the motion of the squat would be internal broad. Another one is look at the wall, which would be external narrow.
Alright, so this is our student today. This is Natalie. She's going to be learning the soccer kick. So I'm going to be teaching her how to perform the soccer kick. We're not going to be doing any complex movement. It's going to be a non-complex skill that we're teaching. So to start off, we're just going to teach her the movement. So since it's a discrete skill, we have to teach it all in unison. We're not able to break it down because it's not that much of steps. So we're going to focus on our foot being placed next to the ball. Good. And then we're going to lift our back foot and then follow through. Good. So if you want to do that without the ball, we'll mirror each other. So step, up, kick. That's good. So now I'm going to have her peer, Jose, come and demonstrate it. We're having a peer demonstrate it because we don't want someone skilled because that might frighten her a little bit. So we're going to have Jose, because he's the same skill as her, perform it. So if you could just step, kick. Good. You do it one more time. Perfect. So now we're going to ask Natalie to perform it. So I'll stand over here. So you're going to step. Perfect. She's already a pro. She's going to perform it again. We're going to have to do it 5 times, and then we're going to have her watch a video of Jose doing it. So for some feedback, we're going to have her focus on where she's kicking the ball, because that'll make her go where she wants it to go. We want her to focus on the positive, so we're going to tell her, good job kicking it that time with that much power. Good job with the follow through. Make sure that you're following through all the way to make it go where you want to go. So now I'll be showing her the video of the peer demonstration. If you want, we're watching Jose right now. Okay, good. So now we go back again. So now we're going to be utilizing the 5 characteristics of learning. So the first one, we're going to do improvement. So we're going to have Natalie perform this skill multiple times, and then we're going to graph her overall performance to see if it's going up. So how we go. Good. Good. We have her doing good, consistently kicking the ball to Jose right now. But for the next characteristic, we're going to have set up this as a cone so we can practice her consistency. So Jose. So we'll set that up as a cone to monitor her consistency during the kick. Let's see. Okay, dang, nice. First try. Okay, almost. I'll have one more try. Okay, good. So now for stability, we'll have Jose come back over here. We're going to have him create an unstable environment by yelling at Natalie while she's trying to perform the kick. Ah! Ah! Oh, even better. She's better under pressure. So I'll have her do it again. Ah! Oh, no one frightened her. So now we'll do the persistence aspect. So we'll have her perform it one more time. Okay. And now we'll stop. We'll come back in a few days and we'll perform it again and see if she can recreate this performance. Alright, so we're back 2 days later and we're going to see if Natalie can recreate the same performance that she did a few days ago. We're good. She has the same technique. She's stepping good into the ball and kicking through the ball. Perfect. So we can see through persistence she's able to come back a few days later and recreate the same performance that she did. For the last characteristic, we're going to have Jose come back over here. And he's going to be a defender. So this is going to be assessing her adaptability with the skill. So Jose is going to be in the way. We're going to see if she can still perform the kick. Alright, so good. Alright. So as you can see, she's doing good with adapting to Jose being in the way. She's still able to get it in the same area as the cone. Perfect. So that was Natalie learning to kick a soccer ball. We feel like we did pretty well teaching her and using the characteristics of learning. Yeah, she did pretty good over time.
Alright, so today I'm with my client Josie, who is 62 years old, and we are going to show her how to perform a squat. A squat uses your gross motor skills, which are your large limbs in your body. Since she is already skilled, we're going to use a skilled elderly woman to help Josie perform the squat. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to start it. So you're going to start with your feet shoulder distance apart and bend down, keeping your hips back like you're sitting in a chair. Your core tight. Lean back a little bit. There you go. Now stand up. You just did a squat. Alright, so we're going to watch an elderly model help us out. Okay. Good job. Okay, now go ahead. Perfect. Keeping that core tight and coming back up. Good job, Jen. So while you were performing your squat, I wrote down a couple of descriptive cues that I wanted to let you know. You didn't keep your back straight. There was too much knee movement when you were going down. You need to focus on keeping your core really tight. You're putting a little more weight on your right side, but we can always fix that. And just make sure your hips are pushed back enough when you go down. Josie, when you're performing the squat, I want you to feel the pressure in your feet, which focuses on internal narrow, and feel the full motion of the squat, which is internal broad. I also want you to look at a wall or external narrow when you're performing.